Guys, what is up? Mike's in our first Descendant video, and today we're going over the October 10th update announcement. This is an update that they put out about what's happening on October 10th, which obviously has a lot of things happening, but we get some more details on the Transcendent modules that are coming out for Ultimate Freyna, the Transcendent modules for Hailey, and so much more. Hope you guys enjoy the full breakdown, and let's get right into it. So this update is kind of like the majority of the content for season 1 because they squished the mid-season update and the end of season update all into one update. So this should be more content than season 1 technically launched with. And one of the new things that they're bringing is Ultimate Freyna and her exclusive story. Still trapped in the day of the Room Zero incident, Freyna's trauma has stopped time and left her to suffer alone in her long grief. In this exclusive story for Freyna, you'll explore the inner mind of crestfallen hero, gripped by the guilt of surviving alone after failing to save her love and comrades. Bunny was able to overcome resentment of her parents with the help of teammates. Will Freyna also be able to overcome her trauma and face reality? We've got another look at Ultimate Freyna, who looks freaking awesome. And then we also get a little bit of information on her new Transcendent modules. So first, we got Toxic Mixture. Freyna's passive skill Contagion Links is changed to Toxic Mixture. When equipped, the skill module will trigger Necrosis instead of Room Zero Trauma. As enemies gain more stacks of Necrosis, your firearm attack increases when you shoot at them, and if an enemy reaches max stacks, your firearm critical hit rate also increases. Basically, you're going to be changing Freyna from a dot Descendant to more so focused on her guns and her gun crit. This is kind of interesting, different playstyle. If you want to focus on playing her more as a gun character, you can do so. I obviously would prefer not to do that, but pretty cool mod there. And next we get Venom Injection. Defense mechanism is changed to Venom Injection. Venom Injection consumes resources to recover your shield and increases skill power modifier while inflicting corrosion on enemies. Enemies inflicted with corrosion suffer reduced toxin resistance, making them more vulnerable to Freyna's toxic attacks. This sounds interesting. Obviously, the usefulness of this mod will entirely depend on how much skill power modifier it actually gives her. If it gives her a ton, it could be really useful. If it doesn't give her much, probably don't see myself using this thing. It is interesting that it is going to be recovering your shield. Shield is better after today, but I still would prefer HP. So interesting Transcendent module there as well. Next, we get to Hailey's Transcendent modules, which are Super Cooled, Kuiper Round, and Cryogenic Cluster Shot. Super Cooled Kuiper Round, using the unique weapon, reduces firearm attack and fire rate, but increases weak point damage in return. Also, successful weak point attacks recover your shield instead of your MP. The increase in weak point damage decreases on firing the unique weapon, but increases again on successful weak point attacks. This sounds like it should net out into more damage for her fourth ability, which is kind of insane. And your weak point attacks will recover your shield, so maybe it'll make it you'll feel a little bit more tanky while you're sitting there sniping. If the boss is shooting at you, you're gonna be constantly regenerating your shield. This sounds like it could be really potent. Obviously, it kind of depends on how much firearm attack you lose and fire rate you lose, but sounds really cool. And then this is the mod that I'm most excited out of all of the new mods, is the Cryogenic Cluster Shot. The cryo effect is changed to cryogenic. Using a firearm to attack an enemy inflicted with cryogenic deals additional AoE damage to nearby enemies, making this a useful skill module for clearing out common monsters. Basically, if you're going to spam her one ability, which hits a bunch of enemies, it's going to apply cryogenic, and then you use it literally any weapon, and you'll be causing a bunch of AoE explosions, which sounds really, really cool. This is the mod that I'm most excited for because it's going to make Hailey much better at mobbing, which in my opinion is the only weakness that she has right now. So very cool there. In addition, we're adding new modules to improve your builds. Following the addition of modules to improve shield utilization on September 26th, we'll be adding modules that boost skill power or firearm attack instead of critical hit on October 10th to encourage the use of weapons and Descendants that have low critical hit rates. I love this. There's a lot of Descendants that have low crits, like Esimo, like Freyna, like Kyle, just to name a few that I'm messing around with right now, that can be pretty difficult to build around because you if you want to get the most damage, you kind of are forced into crit, even if it's not the smartest idea, because it's just a thing that increases damage. And at a certain point, you just run out of mods that add damage. So hopefully those mods are really cool and expand the way that we can build our characters. Next up, we get the new boss, Deathstalker. We got a little bit of note about Deathstalker. While the enemy wreaks Havoc, a new Colossus, the Deathstalker, has appeared in the void and it's approaching Ingress, a stalker of living things in the darkness of the void space. The Deathstalker is a more formidable foe than any Colossus you've intercepted so far. You must jump back in the void once again to defend Ingress from the threat of the Deathstalker, overcome the fear of death, destroy the lying mask, and discover your true power. With the introduction of the most powerful Colossus Deathstalker, the difficulty of the final intercept battle Gluttony will be readjusted, so they're nerfing Gluttony. Deathstalker looks absolutely insane. Cannot wait to fight this thing. And then we get the Frost Watcher. So this is the new weapon that's coming out, and it reads, to wield true power, sometimes you need to be cold and deliberate rather than fast and hot. Frost Watcher is the perfect weapon for such descendants. This scout rifle has been designed with a built-in chilled Archy catalyst to allow anyone to fire cryogenic bullets. But that cold power wasn't something anyone could wield. The Frost Watcher's chill Archy could course through the entire body of its users and slow their movements, and very few Descendants in Albion can handle being in such a state. But if a Descendant can handle it at all, Frostwatcher can provide them with the most cold-hearted skill in battle. Especially a cryogenic Archy user like Hailey will benefit from the metabolic boost caused by the Frostwatcher's refrigerant that surrounds the rifle. So it sounds like this thing's going to hit like a truck and deal a bunch of damage, but it's going to make you slower while you're using it, is the way that I kind of understand that, which means that it could be a nice bossing weapon, could be really nice for Hailey, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be a weapon that you're going to want to be using while you're trying to move around a bunch and on the go, because it does sound like it will like slow your character down, which is pretty cool. Next, we're getting the new difficulty, which is the highest difficulty infiltration operations. As you can see from this like little GIF that they put in, there's going to be way more enemy density coming in this update, which, you know, they just buffed Freyna. Freyna is one of the strongest characters in the game right now. Freyna and Ultimate Freyna are going to be insane for this content. This looks so freaking good. We've got another little GIF here where there's just like a ton of enemies. Looks really, really interesting. And this is like the kind of the content that I've been wanting from this game for a while, is genuinely difficult, high enemy packed, dungeons that you can really bring in a max Descendant and not just like breeze through. So hopefully they're awesome. So their note here reads, on October 10th, we're also introducing new 400% infiltration operations with more monsters and loot to enjoy. You can choose the 400% option in infiltration operations with the invasion event and continue to participate after you've stopped the invasion. That's pretty cool. 400% infiltration operations feature a greater number of monsters and enhanced monsters than other dungeons, allowing you to fight endless battles. The final battle, which pits you against 2 named monsters at the same time, is a unique feature of this content. So you'll be fighting 2 bosses at the end. With more monsters appearing, you'll be able to plunder a deluge of loot in 400% infiltration operations. This includes an exclusive currency obtainable only in 400% infiltration operations, which can be used to obtain special items that can be traded from ETO0. ETO0 being the trader that's coming on October 10th, which they've got some notes about here. So now we get to talk about ETO0. Every Friday to Sunday, a mysterious merchant, ETO0, visits Albion. The days may vary depending on the time zone of the Descendants. ETO0 offers a different list of goods each week, consisting of Descendant blueprints, weapon blueprints, materials, inventory, expansions, paints, etc., which require standard ETA vouchers of premium ETA vouchers to trade, or premium ETA vouchers. These vouchers can be obtained by playing the 400% infiltration operation and exchanging surplus weapon blueprints. They specify weapon parts here, and weapon blueprints. So it sounds like you're not currently with this going to be able to trade in like extra Descendant parts, like if you've got like 25 Lepic parts. Just specifically weapon blueprints. And it also says, in addition to the rotating shop, ETO0 also offers the feature to exchange surplus weapon blueprints for ETA vouchers. However, due to the limited amount of goods that ETO0 brings, the amount of blueprints that can be exchanged each week is also limited. So like if you have 100 Smithereen blueprints, you're not gonna be able to turn them all in and buy out the entire shop in like one swoop. You probably need to like kind of turn in like 10 each weekend and build up that currency. We're also planning new content that will consume surplus blueprints even after ETO0 is added. For now, ETO0 will serve to consume some of the surplus blueprints, but will continue to expand opportunities to utilize them more effectively. Basically, they're saying that there are going to be opportunities to like consume Descendant blueprints in the future, but for now, ETO0 will just be consuming like weapon blueprints. But hopefully the shop and the things that ETO0 brings are awesome and help with some of the farming frustrations and grind. So excited for that. Next up, we are getting a like Halloween event. I swear I read that they said that they weren't going to do like any Halloween or event things because they didn't fit the theme of the game, which I thought was interesting because we have like maid costumes and firefighter costumes, which could all be like Halloween costumes. But they say with Halloween just around the corner, the city of Albion has been transformed with dark and mysterious Halloween decorations. These decorations placed throughout the city will add a lively Halloween atmosphere to Albion. I cannot wait to see that. We've also got some special cosmetics and skin paints that are perfect for Halloween night, so please look forward to them. We hope you all enjoy a spooky and joyful Halloween and have an unforgettable time. Here's a preview of some of the like cosmetic things that they're adding, and then the rest of the additional Season 1 updates. This looks crazy, dude. So they're updating the like defense special operations. Look how many enemies are spawning in the defense operations. It genuinely looks like a scene out of like Space Marines 2. The mob density is going to be crazy. They say they have been underplayed compared to mine blockades due to long playtime, low monster density, and sprawling placements. We plan to improve resource defense and make it more interesting by shortening the playtime of resource defense to the level of mine blockade. So meaning it'll take like hopefully like 10 minutes, increasing the number of monsters and changing the placement style. We also want to address the issue of reactor farming to reduce the inconvenience of having to farm a new ultimate reactor every time you switch to a new weapon. We're introducing the reactor implant system. This system will allow you to implant the weapon optimization conditions of other ultimate reactors to your current ultimate reactor. An ultimate reactor can have up to 3 weapon optimization conditions, and you can freely implant weapon optimization conditions based on your weapon settings. With this, you'll no longer have to farm a new reactor each time you switch your weapons, and you only need to implant a new weapon optimization condition into the reactor you're currently using. We hope this dev note has answered some of your expectations and questions. Real quick before we get into that, that's insane. So basically, if you farm a toxic tech general rounds reactor for Freyna and you get Fallen Hope on it, but you want to use the Secret Garden, you can use that. It sounds like, obviously we don't have full details on this, but it sounds like you could just imprint the Secret Garden and you could use the Secret Garden and you could use the Fallen Hope, and then maybe you could imprint like one other thing like a Python, and then anytime you're holding any of those weapons, even though that they're different rounds, you would still be able to get your full damage, which if that's how that works, that's going to be amazing. Hopefully it's not locked between like weapon tiers, as in like only general rounds weapons. You could like do like 3 general rounds weapons or 3 sniper weapons. Hopefully it means that you could like use any weapon on any reactor, but this should free up a ton of the frustrations with reactors, and you'll basically just be able to farm like 1 reactor for your character and have a ton more flexibility with your weapon options. That's it for the October 10th changes. Obviously a ton of awesome things. One of the things that I was not expecting is just how much enemy density that they're going to be adding to the game. I think this is a really smart route because obviously like things like Bunny have dominated the meta for mobbing, but like, I mean, you could still make Bunny really good and just take off her like high voltage mod. But as you can like see from the amount of enemies, like high voltage will just not keep up with like Freyna or a Blair in this kind of content. And so instead of like nerfing Bunny, they're adding content that makes these other Descendants really shine. And I think that's so smart. And I cannot wait to jump into all of this content and test out the new mods and fight Deathstalker. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I will catch y'all in the next one. Take care. Peace.